It's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in the UK, working across the UK, France, Germany, Austria and the Netherlands. Welcome to my live, which seems to be doing something odd. That's better. I don't know what was going on there. Anyway, hopefully I'm just going to... Hello, Nora. There is a bit of a delay and something weird happened, so apologies for the something weird. Morning, Carol. Morning, Carmen. Morning, Lorna. There is a bit of a delay and I'm now seeing my face looking a bit whoop. Hello, Rose. So, I hope you are well today. South Oxfordshire weather update is, it might as well be April, because we've got sunshine and showers. So at the moment the sky's blue. About 3/4 of an hour ago we had hail, which I have to say is not that unusual in May here, but it's also only 16 degrees and that's here in my room. I think outside it's probably cooler than that. Morning, Jane. Morning, Helen from Michigan. Morning, Dorothea from Germany. So, right. I'm going to flip the camera down so that you can see what I've already prepped. As you will have seen from the heading, I'm going to be using Adventurous Journey and Oceanfront. But I'm also going to be using some retiring paper. It is current until the end of June, but it is on its way out. Hello, Claire. So let me just flip the camera down. I'm wondering if I didn't have Welcome Live and I had Desk instead, or Picture in Picture instead, because this is the picture that I had just now when I was panicking. Hello, Carol, all the way from Australia. Good evening. So, yeah, there is a dreadful delay, but never mind. So I'm doing 2 cards. One is a complete case, and one is less so. This is the complete case. So I've already prepped, and I will explain why I've prepped, and I will talk through how I got to where I am. So I have already prepped my bits of card. I'm going to be using the diorama, the layering diorama dies. The Adventurous Journey is this one with the canoe and the boat. It's not being used much at the moment. I mean, I kind of understand that it's a bit... you either like canoes and boats or you don't, I think is what I'm trying to say. Hello, Karen. So, yeah, you either like canoes and boats or you don't. I'm making this card for a friend of ours who does enjoy the odd bit of canoeing, so it's going to be fine. Good morning, Sherry. Southern Ontario expecting to be in low 30s, feeling like 38 with humidity. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. I'm assuming that's centigrade, Sherry, not Fahrenheit. If it's Fahrenheit, it's quite cold. Anyway, so yes, I'm going to be using this image first. In fact, for both of the cards, I'm going to be using this image, and I'm going to be piecing the sentiment. But I'm also using Oceanfront, just these two stamps here. This is going into the new catalogue, is in the new catalogue. I've suddenly got a very dry throat, bear with me, I have a bit of coffee left. I have to say there was a little bit of screaming going on this morning because my software decided to not work. Morning, Debtor. Debt. Anyway, Bernadette, good morning. Hello, Joanna from Christchurch in New Zealand. Hello, Sherry. Hot with you. Yes, in Ontario, 30 degrees is hot. I wish I had 30 degrees. Just saying, because it's cold here. Just checking that everything's working. It is. So I'm going to show you on my phone where I'm taking this from, and let me just check that you can see that. Not very well. Let me see if the other picture is better. Possibly. Anyway, I found this on Pinterest. Backyard Stamper, who is Kathy Schmidt. So hats off to her. I have done quite a lot of the fussy cutting already, just saying. And I'm changing it up a wee bit because I would quite like it to go into an envelope and not be too expensive to post. Just saying. Let me go back to what you're seeing. So I have got a piece of Blackberry Bliss that it's a quarter sheet. So this is in effect a card front size. I will try and work out dimensions for North America as well. And I'll try and work out dimensions for centimetres and inches for Imperial A4. Hello, Bonnie from Ohio. Debt. But you don't mind what you call it as long as it's something nice. Always something nice. I don't know why I put the on the end. It's a bit like people pronounce the E at the end of my surname, and it so doesn't have it. English grammar lesson here, folks. So if you put an E at the end of the word, it hardens the first vowel. Now, technically Y can be claimed as a vowel. It's not. But if you think of him, as in Hymn, the Y acts as a vowel. In my surname, it doesn't. It's just a consonant. But the U is a vowel. And so instead of going it's U, as in you, because of the E. So it's you-ill. But the number of people, when you're queuing at the doctors and places like that, and they go, Mrs. Yuille, and it's not Yuille. Oh, Kansas! So, this is a quarter sheet of Blackberry Bliss. I would have used Misty Moonlight, but Misty Moonlight has retired. So I'm using Blackberry Bliss. And I've already adhered a piece of designer series paper that is 1/2 inch narrower than the width. And that will become obvious as to why in a moment when I tell you that my evening evergreen pieces, which there are 2, are 1 inch longer than my card front. So that's my card front size, and I've got 1 inch longer because I've scored 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. So half an inch and then 1 inch in from each end, because it's going to be like theatre card. So again, the piece of designer series paper is exactly the same size as this piece, and this piece, and this again is the same size as card as the other Evergreen Envy, because this is also going to be folded. The reason I've already glued these is because they are glued, wet glue, so the green glue, because I want this to be sticky as much as possible across the whole thing. Could use adhesive sheet, but that seemed a waste, so I used a thin layer of glue, but I wanted it to be dry before I then fed it through the die cutter. So I've already done that. I've already stamped some of the boulders which are on the ocean, or from the Oceanfront stamp set, and I've done Sahara Sand and Crumb Cake. Sorry, that's coming out, which annoys me. I have also already stamped the canoe, but I will be stamping the canoe again, so don't worry. But I want this to be dry so that I can use my blends on it. And in a video, a live video, sometimes it's not quite dry. So I've done fussy cutting on some of my boulders. There are more if I need them. But the big thing I need to do now is to die cut my panels. So let me get that done. And I'm going to be, the bigger diorama is going to be on the front piece, and the smaller diorama is going to be on the middle piece. So I've got my magnetic base plate. Well, I will have when I bring it in. So I've got my magnetic base plate, which for those of you who follow me regularly, I am in the middle of, in inverted commas, reviewing to see if it is going to work properly. I'm sure it will, but just in case. So let me get this in as far as I can so you can see it. So you can see where the paper is. Now I want a reasonable margin around the edge of the paper because, yeah, you just kind of want a reasonable margin. So let me pop that through my cut and emboss, and it's going to hopefully cut through both layers, so both the paper and the card, and apparently dislodge my shelf. Hadn't allowed for the fact that it was coming out the other side. Morning, Jan! Jan has is one of my team, and she's just recruited someone using the In Colour recruiting pack, which is today's the last day. I'm trying to just check whether it's already good evening from Australia. So Carol and Joanna, is it still the 31st of May with you? So are you still able to have people join your team in South Pacific? I mean, I know Australia has different time zones, but you know. So this is the front piece, the middle piece, and again I'm die cutting that from roughly the middle. Hello, Karen. Gosh, we've got lots of Karens on today. Hello, Judy. Oh, Judy, is this your first time commenting? If so, welcome. Even if it's not your first time joining, welcome. So that's all my die cutting done. So let me get rid of those bits. Right. So these bits are technically waste, but you can see that because I glued them with glue, they're not falling apart, which also means the edges of the die cuts aren't falling apart. And it was literally a very thin scribble that I used of the liquid glue. So let's pop these together. Where's my diorama dies? There they are. Right, so we've got these two pieces and this piece. This is the back. So I'm going to fold the back so that this comes forwards. So I'm just folding on my two lines. Usually I watch the replays. Ah, okay. So Joanna says yes, but it's just after 10 p.m, which means you've hardly got any time left to use the joining offer for the In Colour joining offer, I would say. So we've got that at the background. This then goes on top of that, and then this goes the other way. So this goes backwards. Ooh, and I haven't caught that little bit. Let me just grab my adhesive, because this is a very, very fine edge, which doesn't surprise me that I didn't catch all of that. So I'm just going to get my adhesive, pop it in, and just add a little bit of adhesive along there. Smush it out a bit. Smush is a technical word, technical word, obviously, for just spreading it from that side. Is this side all right? That side looks all right. So the front piece is folding backwards, the back piece is folding forwards. Now I do need a little bit more glue under there, I think, or am I all right? No, I think I'm all right if I don't pick at it. So folding those, burnish. So we will end up with that effect, yeah? But it will fit into a standard envelope because the two bits top and bottom will flatten out and become the same size as the background. It's easier, obviously, when it's stuck together. So I'm going to join the back to the front, but the back to the middle, but I'm not going to join the back to the front just yet. I'm going to use liquid adhesive for the wiggle room. You could use tear and tape, or I would use Seal Plus. I did a review this morning, Top Tip Tuesday, on seal. So throughout, well, for the next few weeks, on Top Tip Tuesday, I will be reviewing our adhesives. So if you are interested in that, do give that a go. Take a look at that. So, didn't really want to do that, but it's fine. I dropped my, so I just need to be slightly aware that I now have adhesive on the back of my Blackberry Bliss layer, which I don't really want. So what you then need to do is to line up the edges of your two bits of card. This is why a liquid adhesive is best for this. Liquid adhesive and 3 pairs of hands, probably. And then just make sure that that flattens reasonably. And burnish into place. So that's our back piece. Do it both ways so that we know it folds. So that's our back piece. This is obviously water in the background, etc. Next, I'm going to add this piece because this needs to go here at the back. And you don't want to have to go through too many layers. So I'm going to colour it first, and then I'm going to cut it out. So let me bring in those so I know where they are. Then we'll add boulders and things. So I have decided that I'm going to have a Calypso Coral canoe. It's mostly going to be Calypso Coral Light, but I'm going to do a little bit of Calypso Coral Dark as well. So I'm coming around the outside with the dark, and basically anything that is a shape or anything that might cause a shadow, I am highlighting, for want of a better word, in Calypso Coral Dark. I'll bring this up so that you can see once I have done the dark. Have I missed any comments? Nope, that's good. So I'll go dark here as well. And then along the back. And round the outside of that. And in here. Round this. And round that. So I've outlined everything in dark. Ooh, and I said I was going to bring it up, so here we go. Hello, Jan! All the way from Florida. And then I'm just going to colour this in. Ooh, I need a new Calypso Coral Light by the sound of it. It's just beginning to squeak, which is always a sign to me that things are going to run out. I do use Calypso Coral Light quite a lot, so it doesn't surprise me. And I think these are my first Calypso corals. Might be my second. But they do last a very long time. And I'm putting an order in later today, so I will just add them onto my order. Very quiet. You're obviously watching. While you're watching, if you're enjoying what you are seeing, please do feel free to give me a thumbs up. Always delighted to get a thumbs up. YouTube likes interaction. The more interaction you get on a YouTube video, the more likely it is that YouTube will show it to other people. So it's a free way of you supporting me. And you can also share to Pinterest, anywhere else you fancy sharing to. That is also very popular with YouTube and incredibly popular with me. Right, so that's where we are so far. Liked and shared, thank you, Lorna. Hello, Chris, also known as John, from a cold, windy and wet Sydney. No! Oh, 8:20 p.m. Tuesday. So if you're in Sydney, you definitely have time to use the starter kit offer. Right, I'm going to come back in with the dark, and just where there are these white areas, so here and here, I'm going to just touch in with dark Calypso Coral. In fact, what I might do, because it's Memento, so it's not that black, because I only stamped once, I'm going to colour the whole of this black front and back with dark Calypso Coral, because that will help to deepen the black. I'm not too worried about the cockpit not being black, black, black. Right, so that's my canoe. Thank you, Nora. Hello, Barbara. Barbara has just watched my planter video. She usually gets the Tuesday update at 2300. Is that the update or is that the Stamping Success? Because the update should be on the demo website. So the update you have to go and find rather than it coming to your inbox. Right, this is SU 700, which I'm going to use for the arms, because I'm thinking this person is probably going to be reasonably suntanned. Gonna have to cough again. Really mustn't scream at computers. It doesn't do your throat any good. Stamping Success. You can also get to Stamping Success through the update. So if you go to the demo website, Barbara, and look at the weekly update, there's a link to Stamping Success there. So if you want to see it earlier, you can see it from, I'm guessing, 9 o'clock in the morning your time, because Barbara's in Germany, so different times. Right, okay, so I'm going to go for Soft Succulent on the hat. And again, I'm going to go around the outside of both circles. And then fill in with light Soft Succulent to blend that in. And then I'm going to use Polished Pink. Are we ready for brightness? The reason I'm using these colours is because they're actually in the paper. So they should, in inverted commas, blend. I'm going to go light Polished Pink, which is incredibly bright, on the sleeves. And then the cuffs, I'm going to do dark Polished Pink. And I'm thinking that the back is actually a life jacket. So I'm going to do that in dark Polished Pink as well. Hey, it could have been worse. It could have been Magenta Madness. But we don't have that anymore. And then I will need to find a brown or some such for the paddle. I'm just going to add light Polished Pink on what I'm thinking is the top of the blouse, shirt, whatever. Right, so I am going to go, I think I'm going to go crumb cake. The boulders I've stamped in crumb cake and soft suede. Thank you, Chris. Wish I could use the starter kit offer, except you're a demo. It is such a bargain. I mean, in the UK, it's £62.50 of extra stuff. Now, when you think that the starter kit in the UK is £99, getting an extra £62.50 is just unbelievable. I'll use light crumb cake for the shaft. Right, okay, so I now need to cut this out. So I've got my snips because I put those to one side so I knew where they were. Hello, Steffi. How is the weather in the West Country? So I'm just leaving a little halo around the edge of my image. And it's really not a difficult image to cut out. The paddles I accept are a little fiddly, but otherwise it's basically just a straight run. I mean, a straight, slightly curved run, but you're not having to go in and out too much. And the key to fussy cutting is, and I haven't said this for a while, is to move your paper, not your scissors. All you do with your scissors is open and close them, but the movement is done with your other hand, moving the paper. And if you start getting to a point where the waste is getting in your way, I mean, it's not, but just get rid of it. But when you get rid of it, cut back from where you currently are. And then just round that off. So there is our fussy cut image. Lovely and sunny today. Ooh, goody. It's sunny here at the moment, but we had hail earlier. So this is my canoe, obviously. That is going to go in here. And I am going to pop it up on dimensionals. But this is why I needed to get that in before I put the top layer on, because the top layer is going to heavily restrict my access to this. I mean, you can squash everything flat, but it's much easier to only have to squash one layer, not two. I'm only popping this up for look. It's not structural. Oh, Lorna, did I miss your birthday? Was it your birthday yesterday? So yes, these aren't structural. They're literally just popping it up so that it's not flat on the background. And I need a little bit there. I'm going to use a little bit of edge from this sheet. Don't need much, so I'll use this little corner here. Oh, I'm glad you're finding it relaxing, Jane. Right, so let's, whoops, this is so small that it's almost impossible to handle. But hey, I just want something to give that a little bit of support because it is very fine. Right, okay, so let's get rid of all the dimensional backings. Now, some of the canoe will get covered as we add layers. That's fine. It's not a problem. I am expecting that. It is anticipated. Come along. There we go. So to go down a wee bit. Didn't actually want to drop it just yet. Come on, up you come. Oh, okay, don't then. It's that tiny little bit of dimensional that is now stuck. So yes, there is our canoe. Now we are going to put this over the top, but first we're going to add some boulders. So I'm just going to build up some boulders here. So let's add some adhesive to the back. And these are going straight onto the middle layer. I'm not adding dimensionals or anything like that. My Sahara Sand ink pad is a bit juicy, so if you see some of these looking a little solid, that's why. So this one, for example, is fairly solid. This one's not quite so bad, but my Sahara Sand is a little bit too juicy, so I'm actually storing it the wrong way up at the moment. Right, so we can add. Let's add one of the double boulders. Now I am going to cover some of these up with more boulders on the front of my card, but I don't want any huge spaces, so I'm going to keep coming in and just seeing where we are. And actually for me that's going to be fine. So all I need to do now is add boulders onto this piece, and again I'm going to do that off because it's going to be easier to do it not floating in the air. Let's use Sahara Sand first. And I will be covering some of this with the sentiment, so again I'm not too worried about accuracy, but it would be nice if things were reasonably where I want them. This bit here, this bit would annoy me, but I know I'm going to cover it, so at the moment I'm not too worried. Let's have a large crumb cake, and I'm also going to add some of these behind rather than in front, because that will get us some more dimension. And again, this bit here is going to be covered. Dear Lord. Now I'm going to add from the back. Not a huge amount, just a bit. It just gives a little bit of added depth without giving too much bulk to your card. So again, I'm just checking where things are. So we're looking like that at the moment. Which I might add something just in the corner there at the back. Now obviously that's got to not go into the fold. So I'm going to have it there. I'm going to pop a little bit of glue there, so I know there's something for it to catch. And then there. Oh, taking off the extra glue that I didn't need. I can erase that later on with my glue eraser. Where is my glue eraser? There it is. Can scoot the whole lot out as well. Let's move that down a bit. There we go. That's better. Just filled in that hole nicely. So we've currently got this going on. So I'm going to add the adhesive. I don't need these. I'm going to add the adhesive to these bits. Oh, thank you, Linda. Good morning. I'm your new favourite while drinking your morning coffee. Excellent. Right, so let's see if I can make a better job of this than I did putting the others together. So, like that. I'm just going to make sure that's reasonably square. So I'm just bouncing it up and down there because then it will make sure that the Blackberry Bliss and the Evening Evergreen are reasonably well lined up, which they are. And then line those up, and again I'm going to bounce it up and down, make sure everything's reasonably well attached. Then squish. Come in with your bone folder and make sure that that is well adhered. Squish it the other way, make sure it's well adhered. And we have that lovely depth to our card, but that's not fully stuck down. It is now. But when we pop it in the envelope, it's going to be like that. And then so it's reasonably flat. So now we need a sentiment. And I have, somewhere, I put a little piece of card down. I'm going to use that. Oh, there we are. Don't know that that was the piece of card I was going to use, but I'm going to use this piece of card. Where's the other piece? How strange. So I'm going to do some piecing, because I want a sentiment that says, where's my stamp set? I want wishing you a happy birthday. Well, we've got wishing you an adventurous happy and birthday, but so I'm going to be doing some surgery. I mean, not literal surgery, but I've mounted up my sentiment stamps. They do need a clean, as in a rub, before I really get going. So the first thing I am going to do is stuck together. So I'm going to rub my stamp just to get any finish off. And I'm going to add ink up to, but hopefully not including, the N. Woohoo! So I needn't have stamped it quite that far up, but it's fine. Hello, B. So wishing you a happy birthday. Nope, that's not right. Take that all back. What I should have done is only ink the wishing you a. I was thinking I was using Adventurous and I'm not. So let's just clean that off. Got it wrong. Right, so all we want to do is ink up to, but not including. So we want wishing you a. Suddenly realised Adventurous is slightly longer than happy. Right, so wishing you a. I'm not too worried that that has pulled the paper up. No, I am not happy with that it's pulled the paper up. Let me clean my stamp more thoroughly. The problem was I was thinking that I had sprayed my Stampin' Scrub with cleaner today and I haven't. So I was using a leftover cleaner, which isn't good for making sure you have a really clean stamp. That's better. Not brilliant, but it's better. I need to clean my Stampin' Scrub is what I really need to do. Right, third time lucky, everyone. So wishing you a. See, you get warts and all with my channel. That's better. Third time lucky. So wishing you a happy is going on a piece of designer series paper, but I am going to still stamp it so I've got the spacing. So wishing you a happy. And then I'm going to try it on a couple of bits of the paper because I would like it to be reasonably blue, but if it doesn't show, no, that's all right. And then birthday. There we go. Judy likes that I keep it real. Ah, why are you now using the Stampin' Scrub instead of the sponge? Because I'd forgotten I had the Stampin' Scrub. The Stampin' Scrub is my preferred cleaner. Warts are good, you learn from them, absolutely. I'm wondering when the retiring list will go live for the mini catalogue. I think it's 11 o'clock this evening, Nora. I've done my usual trot through the catalogue, so you should be able to find that on my YouTube channel. There's another one missing. So yes, it's on my YouTube channel. I think it's also on my website. I think I linked it through. And I think it is 11 o'clock this evening. Let me check that for you. But I think it is. I think it's midnight Central European time is basically what I'm saying. So let me have a quick look. Happening now. Catalogues. See, on the catalogue page it very helpfully doesn't show. But I think it is midnight tonight. You've seen the post, that's all right then. Hello, Barbara. How do you clean your Stampin' Scrub? Running it under a tap, mostly. A good question, however, but yeah, running it under a tap. I would suggest not using too much washing up liquid, or if you're in the North America, dish soap. I think it's dish soap in North America. I'm using my guillotine because I want this to be straight, and I don't think I've stamped it straight. And I find it easiest to do straight edges on a guillotine. Yeah, warm water and some mild soap if necessary. Yeah, if you put too much soap on, it'll take you forever to get it out. I have, back in the day, one of my very early Top Tip Tuesdays. So if you search Top Tip Tuesday and Stamp and Scrub, you should, I mean, I'm probably going back 4 years. I did a Top Tip Tuesday, actually, a little bit fat at that end. I'm going to do something very scary. I'm going to turn it upside down, which I know some of you will find really frightening. But it's fine, you see, I knew where I was cutting. I'm going to do the same here. The reason I'm turning it upside down is because it's slightly wobbled. And I want the thicker end at the nearest end to the blade. Thank you, Jane. Do you then leave it open to dry? As I say, the plates come out. Bear with me 1 moment. And I will see if I can get them out, or show you how you get them out. So, Stamp and Scrub. There's a corner on each of them that's, in inverted commas, open. So I just go in, I normally go in with just a blunt knife. But let's see if I can. So you go in underneath and just pull it up. And you take these little tabs out and they come out. So, yeah. So I will be cleaning that later. A demo friend of mine, when we were both fairly new demos, we were at a workshop and she'd brought her Stamp and Scrub, and she got ink all over herself, so she tried cleaning her hand on the Stamp and Scrub. It was an interesting result. Right, so I'm going to hand cut my happy because I'm feeling brave. So so yes, leave them open to dry. Do you understand the term airing cupboard, Linda? Learn something new every day? Yep, absolutely. That's what we're here for. Every day's a school day. So yes, if you've got where you have your hot water tank, if you have a hot water tank, that's what we would call an airing cupboard in the UK. And if you I normally put mine on top of the on top of the hot water tank, which dries it overnight very successfully. There we go. So we've got our wishing you a happy birthday. And this then goes here. So it's going to cover up those bits that I was a little bit unhappy with, where there are these gaps. And I'm just going to stick it straight on. I'm not using dimensionals, because that way it will help keep the envelope reasonably thin. And then we've got a little bit of time to make our second card, which is much quicker. You'll be delighted to hear. Right, so that basically is our card. You can obviously add some embellishments if you wish, and then I would use the back with a piece of white card for your sentiment. So thank you, Sherry. As I say, this is a case from Backyard Stamper. I found her card on Pinterest. Hopefully you can see that reasonably. So I've just kind of worked out how to do it. But anyway, yes, so Backyard Stamper, Kathy Schmidt. Thank you for the inspiration. These theatre cards or diorama cards are really great because they add all this depth but not bulk. So really great if you want to send a dramatic card. They're a really great way of doing that. And then just have it standing up. As I say, I will try and put the instructions on my website, and the link to that will be in the description bar below this video. Maybe later today, maybe tomorrow. I'll try and have this posting tomorrow morning. Right, so my other card, as I say, is going to be much easier. So I've got a piece of Starry Sky. I said it right. Did you notice I said it right? I'm going to use my canoe again. Yes, I've definitely got ink all over me. And I'm just going to ink this up with Memento. I'm going to do this first, then I'm going to do some more stamping, then I will come back and colour it. So, am I going to have them going up or down? I think I'm going to have them going down. For me, that makes more sense than going... Oh, actually, no, I quite like the up. Doesn't matter which way I stamp it. It can be either way. It will be the same. I can turn the card around. Dear Lord. Thank you, Det. So I'm making sure that the ink has a reasonable length of time to transfer. Now I am going to use one of the other stamps. I need to, ow. Just trying to slice the cuticle on my thumb. Right, I'm going to take that off. Pop that on there. Right. So I've got all of the new blues from the in colours. So I've got Tahitian Tide, Orchid Oasis and Starry Sky, and this is kind of like the where his paddle has been. His, her, whichever. So I'm going to build up some pattern on the background, and I'm using Stamping Off as well. I will, however, need my scrub for some of this. So let's get that ready to go. So because I've gone off the edge there, I now need to make sure I don't get the bit that's fully inked onto the card, because otherwise it will make a funny shape. So that's Tahitian Tide. I don't know why I'm putting that away. It's this I need to put away. And we'll get the dimensional backing off. Orchid Oasis. So theoretically there shouldn't be all of these circles, but I'm basically just building up a background. So if you were doing this, you know, actually canoeing, you wouldn't do this. This would not be happening. Does that make sense? Possibly not. I may have to come in with some of these colours again. I may not. Ooh, I just had a thought. Always frightening. Right, this is Starry Sky. don't really want dark next to dark. Which basically means I need to come back in with Tahitian Tide, which of course is the one ink pad I put away. Gotta love it. I'm going to stop there. It's possibly gone a bit too far already, but hey. Right, so I'm now going to bring in my blends in the same colours, well, in fact in the new ink colours. So I've got something nice and bright as well. So I'm going to use Sweet Sorbet for the canoe. Can you tell I'm concentrating because I've gone quiet? So today is the last day of May, obviously, or the first day of June if you're in the South Pacific and you've switched over to tomorrow. So I won't be doing any more everyday randoms today. This is obviously not a random. I will be doing some more randoms, but they will be occasional. And I'm also going to start looking at the retiring stock, specifically for the randoms, so that you have an idea of what's selling quickly and what isn't. Obviously that is for the Europe market only, because that's all I can see. And later in the month I will be starting scrapbooking. I haven't decided yet whether that's going to be a regular slot or a random. It will be a long video, because if it's going to be a live scrapbooking, it's going to take time. Right, I'm going to use dark sorbet for back here. Could probably have used it at the front as well. In fact, I might go over the front. Not worrying too much about shading on this one. This is more of a stylized card. Off your massage. Oh, can I come? Oh, I love a good massage. Right, so I'm going to stick with my crumb cake paddle because I have an issue with paddles not, blue paddle. Nah. We have black paddles with blue handles. Oh, I could do crumb cake paddle with blue handle. I might do dark starry sky for the handle. Now, I will come back and do his hands, his, but I'm going to wait until the starry sky has dried. It doesn't take long to dry, but it does need to dry. So let's go Orchid Oasis for the hat. And again, I'm not worrying about shading too much. And then Starry Sky Light for shirt sleeves. Oh, and that I think is the back of the shirt. Tahitian tide, I think, for the light for that. What I'm thinking of as his life jacket. Anyway, this bit back here. Yeah, love a bit of scrapbooking. That's how I started. My first foray into crafting was scrapbooking. Right, I'm going to use Starry Sky Dark for the cuffs. And then I'm going to leave that for a moment while those dry. And I'm going to grab some Tahitian tide. I don't want the Starry Sky to run into her arms, so I'm just going to cut a Tahitian tide mat. That was the wrong size. Let me try that again. Dear Lord. Right. This is the one that's supposed to be 3 7/8. And I was cutting it too small. By 5 5/8. Right. While I've got this out, I'm just going to trim this down. I'm going to take... Actually, I think I'm going to take 1/4 of an inch off on just 2 edges. Let's use this. Right, so the ink now is dry, so I can grab my SU 700. So SU 7 and 800 are medium light. And then that's going to go on here with a reasonable margin. So I'm going to use my seal because I like seal for basic white card. It's less likely to show through. Well, it won't show through, whereas the liquid glue may leave a kind of shadow, halo-y sort of thing. Let's get rid of those 2 bits. So this is going on here. Now, theoretically, if you line up 3 edges, the other one should work. There we go. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a card base, which is this. Got too many bits on my desk. The reason I turned it over is because this is slightly bigger. Hello, Susan from Melbourne. So this I'm going to use green glue on. Multi-purpose liquid glue, aka green. And I've obviously decided he's going down the card rather than up the card. It's easier to canoe downstream. And matte dots in the new In Colours. take your pick. There we are. And I'm going to use the Tahitian Tide, but I'm going to go for the lighter ones, and I'm just going to add them to some of the Tahitian Tide circles. And actually I'll go for this odd dark one that I've got left to go there. So this really simple card, other than doing the colouring, very straightforward. Let me move that out of the way. Clear the decks a bit so that we can do a quick review. So that's our second card. This was our first card. So if you've only recently joined the video, you can obviously watch it on playback. So thanks to Backyard Stamper Susan Schmidt, Jenny Schmidt, Kathy Schmidt, Backyard Stamper, for the inspiration for this. And then there's this one as well. So there you are. Those are today's cards. I mean, this one is very multi-layered, and as I said earlier, you can squish it down. I don't know that it will go through as a standard letter in the UK. It may be a large letter, but it's worth a try squishing it into a standard letter. I will be trying that out and then popping it in the post for the friend of ours whose birthday is tomorrow, so I need to send it first class because I forgot to do it earlier. Anywho, let me flip the camera back up, if I can clear the decks a little so that I can get near my mouse. Thank you, Joanna. We've got very complicated and really quite straightforward, but both good. Okay, so thank you, Karen. So there we go. That is today. A little bit longer than normal. Thank you, Carol. So if you have enjoyed it, thumbs up is always great. I've had lots of likes. Thank you. Watch the replay, first time on. Yeah, do have a look at the replay. It should be live fairly quickly after this finishes. Thank you, Nora. So thank you very much indeed. If you're watching the replay and you've got questions, below the description bar you can leave a comment and I'll get back to you. I am behind doing replies. I'm sorry, I will get round to those. Thank you, Jan. Do please remember, wherever you are in the world, you have, if you're in South Pacific, not very long, but you have time still to make the most of the in-colour joining offer, which means you get all of the inks and the mixed card pack and the designer series paper and some grid paper free in your starter kit. Otherwise, the starter kit is exactly the same as normal. So you get your usual starter kit plus those extra bits. So please, please, please make the most of those. Thank you, Chris. And I will be back on, it is actually a bank holiday on Thursday in the UK, but I will try and be live at 3 in the afternoon on Thursday. But we've got the Platinum Jubilee weekend, which is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So things may go a little awry. But thank you very much indeed for joining me. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will look forward to seeing you sometime soon. Oh, something weird just happened to my software, just for a change. Anywho, so thank you very much indeed. If I can get my end screen, I will say goodbye. Bye-bye.